Hello and welcome to the Elements Catering Show. I am Joshua Young. I started Elements Catering back in 2016. My lovely partner Scotti came along right after that, and then in 2018, excuse me, that's not right. In 2017, Jordan came on and sous chefed with us for a year, and then out-chefed me and outclassed me, and became the chef and now the current owner and operator of Elements Catering from 2019 onwards. All right. On today's episode, we're going to talk about what were some of the best memories from catering and what were some of the most challenging events that we had to do over the past 4 years while operating. I was doing an event at the Refuge Foundation, which is a retreat center based off of the Bighorn. And we were cooking dinner for about 12 different people for 5 days. And on the 5th day, I was doing a really special dinner option. It was a oyster sauce brisket that I marinated for about 3 days ahead of time, vacuum sealed it, and then sous vide it for about 24 hours before throwing it in the oven and crisping it off to absolute perfection. And it was a Chinese 5-spice blend on brisket with an oyster sauce, which isn't a common flavor combination when you're working with brisket. And I originally got this idea from a place called Mission Chinese based off of New York City, which we had gone to earlier that year. I had the meal, blew Scotti and I's mind away.
If you're ever in New York, like, that is the place to go.
Mission Chinese, and brought that back, had that brisket there, came back, recreated it for this event, and told the guests a similar story. Well, one of the guests was a pescatarian, and that means he only eats a vegetarian diet with some limited seafood and fish as well. And he, after hearing about the story of how I recreated this, asked to have the brisket instead of this fish option. And I've never had someone change their dietary preferences based on how fantastic my food was.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was a good brisket too.
That was a pretty good brisket. I did like the brisket a
Like,
lot.
it didn't
I
take
wish
that
they
time.
wouldn't have eaten so much of it so that we could have had some more.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say that's probably in the top 5 best foods I've prepared.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's so good. So I don't have a positive,
No positive stories. All bad memories for Scotti.
Nothing positive. I don't have a highlight, but I do have a low light, which I thought was actually really interesting because, so we started doing this dinner. It was a plated family-style wedding, and this was one of our first family-style events, and it was my role to be the front of house. And so I was in charge of making sure that every item fit on the table. And it was at this newer venue that we had never worked at prior to this. And the one thing that I neglected to do was to check the size of the tables, which I just assumed, they'd have the average size table. But these were custom built tables by the owner of the venue's husband. And they happened to be like 4 inches shorter than the average size table. And not shorter, I'm talking width-wise. They were 4 inches skinnier than the average table. And the bride of this event had tons of really beautiful floral and greenery and all of these candles that she wanted on each table. And then with that, there was the expectation that we were going to get 6 different dishes also on this table, along with like 10-inch plates. And the math was just not working out. And it was completely my fault. I absolutely should have checked, like, to make sure the size of the table was normal. And I remember having to come up with a solution on, like, not on the fly. I mean, we had like a month to figure it out, but I remember having that problem. Just the weight of that problem initially was so overwhelming, and it ended up like we ended up having to buy like a ton new service equipment that would actually like fit on the length of the table, and they were like super skinny, and they were beautiful
Is that where
trays.
those stainless trays came from that weigh like 40 pounds each?
Yes, they were so heavy, but they were flawless. Like, they were so gorgeous, and honestly, probably one of my favorite purchases for the company to this day because they're just so pretty. But at the
I do
time,
like
like,
the way those look, but my serving staff all despise them.
they're so heavy, but they're so pretty. So, in the end,
They are very pretty.
it all worked out just fine, and we, like, that bride gave us so many compliments on how beautiful the table looked and how everything fit perfectly, and like our staff even did a run through before people got there just to make sure that they could get all the food onto each table with all the decor and everything else happening, and it worked out completely fine. But in the moment, it was one of the most stressful things I've ever had to do, was trying to completely revamp a table setting.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that you normally anticipate when catering. You're just like, oh, just provide the food, and then they'll eat the food on the table instead of redesigning what that table is going to look like, making sure all of the elements fit. I recall on that event about a month before, just literally making a mock table, just taping out how much space we would have on one of their tables, and then just making sure plating everything, just plating all of our plates, all of our silverware, everything to make sure we could have every single element on that table. Because unfortunately, you can't catering via I hope and I wish that this works doesn't work.
You can't just manifest perfection. Is that quote you really like? It's like, you don't succeed to your ambitions, you fail to your training. Catering embodies that quote perfectly. If you don't know what you're doing, it shows absolutely every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Catering is a humbling profession.
Just the unexpected situations you get thrust into sometimes. Like plating 3 courses out of a storage room with like a 10-foot by like 3-foot hallway. And that's like all your space for like 200 people.
All your space. Man, that was
Maybe that should be
a humbling one.
that was a humbling one.
Oof.
Our food was about 40 minutes late coming out of that event. I
I've
apologize.
made sure every event since then, I'm like, I need that other room. I cannot plate things.
It's not a request. It's a demand. Like, if I don't have that room, you cannot have this food. Like, that's not how it works.
I think I was 40 minutes late during service on that one event and never late after that.
No.
Yeah.
Our services since then have gone, like, flawlessly. Like, everybody is ready to do anything at any given point right before service.
Yeah, it was a huge learning opportunity.
We've also, like, amped up our staffing numbers since that event as well.
Yeah, that definitely made me keep things like that in mind a lot. More in the front of my mind.
It definitely made us question whether or not we were in the right profession. We were like, oh, God, is this what we should be doing right now? Like,
I came into that event so cocky. I thought I had like everything figured out. It was just a massive kick in the face. She was happy, Bride was happy. bride's mother was happy. They loved the food. They thought it was fantastic. We got everything done. It just took a little bit longer than we anticipated.
Yeah. Still got that food out there though.
Still got. I don't think I've ever had someone
As
complain.
long as people that don't want to eat hungry, they're usually
Yeah. Yeah, you live and you learn. I mean, we definitely learned a lot through that event.
What were some of the best memories for you, Jordan?
Actually, I thought the refuge was really awesome too. Not even just the brisket story, but like I love those small, like super intimate, like I don't know, I just love events like that. All my favorite events are ones where it's been like just like a really small group, like that house we catered in. It was just like a group of like 10 people, and it was like a 6-course dinner. We like cooked it all up like right there in their kitchen. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah, that was an artist event. They showcased an artist who had come from Zach Tarakitis' gallery.
Oh, that's actually a different one. I forgot about that.
Oh.
I was talking about with it's some people you know. They had some friends in town and they just wanted to hire you.
Oh,
to serve them and their friends dinner one night.
And we did, the entire menu was Jewish or kosher.
Kosher.
The entire menu was kosher.
That was so fun. Yeah, they had their, it was like a brother / friend of the group who'd come in from Alaska with his fiance.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
What do you remember anything on that menu?
I know we did like charred broccoli. There was did we do tuna?
Mm-hmm.
Did a brioche bun with compound butter.
Yeah.
I feel like there was peas on that menu.
Oh, we did the white chocolate.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Okay. Yeah, we did do that.
Mm-hmm. So that's an event, like that's a dish that just blows people's minds.
Such a good dish.
What do you remember about that dish, Jordan?
I remember thinking before I tasted it that before crap, this was gonna be weird. In no scenario did I think a soup with peas and white chocolate was gonna be tasty.
And it's incredible.
It also has salty macadamia nuts on it.
Yeah.
Those macadamia nuts on top of it.
Just the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Super surprising.
I love that expression.
It's always fun when you can like blow people's minds when you're like, all right, this is what we're gonna eat. And you're like, what? That's not gonna be good. And then they have it, and they're like, oh my god, this is I'm blown away by how well these flavors go together.
Yeah. Oh, those are the best moments.
Yeah. Also, you can get like a vegetable like peas, which usually has a pretty bad rap, like a complete facelift, and people can actually like start to like reimagine their idea of these vegetables. That's super cool.
Yeah, I do love blowing people's minds with vegetables. Like, I feel like so many people, maybe it's just like an American thing, but I feel like so many people just want like meat, starch, and like they'll eat vegetables, I guess, if they're on the plate, but they never expect vegetables to actually be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really awesome.
We did a curried cauliflower dish for a fundraiser one time. And I remember, because it looked like mashed potatoes, and it had black truffle oil on it and some salt. And I remember multiple people attending the event who were like, these potatoes are amazing. And And I told them, I was like, actually, it's cauliflower. And that's exactly right. They were like, no, I hate cauliflower. This is mashed potatoes. I'm like, all right. Okay.
All right, so I have one of the most challenging events I had to do, or menu to put together, was that someone wanted gourmet Mexican food. They wanted Mexican food that for about $100 a head for their wedding. And if you don't know anything about Mexican food, it's notoriously cheap. Like that's one of the draws is you cover it in beans and cheese and tortilla chips, and there you go. You have a $5 a head event. So when they wanted it for gourmet style Mexican food, my inspiration that I took from it was there was a documentary called Chef's Table on Netflix, and in one of the episodes, it is a Mexican chef who has a restaurant in New York City and in Mexico City, which he produces beautiful, beautiful Mexican food. And I went and found his menu and then tried to recreate certain aspects and elements of that for the catering using stuff like epazote and black wine.
Yeah, something you could charge $100 a head for that's not just basic Mexican food. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Why do so many people just tacos are amazing. They're one of the best. They're one of like the food constants.
Yeah, they are.
Something
No matter where you're putting in that, if it's tacos.
Something people should know about Jordan is that tacos are like one of your favorite foods, and I'm pretty convinced that like you've tried to argue that everything is basically just a taco.
No, because tacos are just sandwiches.
Yes,
That's what it is.
tacos are just sandwiches.
How do you feel about taco bars via catering, Jordan? Because I know you love them.
Yeah. They're probably just my absolute cheapest option, but they always blow people's minds.
Why? Like, what do you do differently?
I don't do ground beef. I just do good meats. Like my go-tos are pork carnitas.
Jordan's pork carnitas.
I really like chicken tinga. That's always one of the options I put on there. I do one that I just call mojo beef. It's really good. And just like high quality fresh toppings too. That really changes things for people when it's not just like shredded cheddar cheese and lettuce.
Frozen shredded cheddar cheese,
Iceberg lettuce.
a can of opened crushed tomatoes.
No queso fountain.
I feel like there's just, I don't know, I do some pretty simple things that really elevate taco bars and don't really make them terribly expensive. Just making my own salsas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you definitely add a custom approach to the traditional taco bar.
Yeah. I need some more coffee.
Is there, so Jordan, wow, Scotty's getting her taco. Is there anything that, did I say you were getting a taco?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, Scotty gets some taco.
What was the biggest challenge you had last year? And if that's a fair question, you don't have to answer. I'm just kind of prompting you for some stories.
The biggest challenge I had was just in general.
Whether that was like creating a menu, working at a venue you haven't done before.
Certain clients, the size of the event.
I feel like this is a super amateur move, but honestly, just like, one of my biggest hiccups on one of my menus this year was just not having enough sauce. Like, and that just like totally made, like, it just turned one of my events into like the worst event all year. The service was good, everything was fast, the menu was solid, but I just didn't have enough sauce. Like, that just,
And did the clients know?
I'm not really sure. They didn't say. No, I didn't really get any feedback on like the food being not good, but I just wasn't happy with it. It just seemed too nice. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too hard on myself, but that's the food I was the least happy with serving all year, just because there was no sauce.
What was the dish?
It was like roasted chicken thighs with like a lemon leek sauce.
Sounds really good.
It
Sometimes
was super tasty. Like, it was a solid dish, but like there just wasn't enough sauce. I had to stretch it, and it just made it like it's not. I don't know. It's kind of bland because I had to stretch the sauce. There wasn't nearly enough sauce on each plate.
there's definitely been many moments in catering where living up to your own expectation is harder than like blowing the expectation of the client.
For sure. I think when you're probably harder on yourself than the client is, which I think is the position we're supposed to be.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even when I make things that I feel like are totally mediocre, it's like, whoa, this is good. I don't know what you're talking about, right? It's terrible.
I didn't like it at all.
Dog food.
It's because you don't have standards.
Something that I always really love is getting the opportunity to reserve clients. So there's like multiple people who are repeat customers of Elements, and I remember one time them calling just to say like, "Hey, we are wanting to do something special for our staff. We weren't really needing to throw a party, but we remembered your food and just really wanted to like throw something to celebrate the staff that we have." And just like being able to be a part of events like that on a regular basis, like we did like 3 to 5 events for them every single year, just because they wanted us to, and they celebrated their staff. And I think like being able to build a relationship with people like that was a super fun and unique opportunity. I love things like that.
Yeah, I love that too. I love catering for, I don't know if you remember Brian and Kelly Christensen.
Mm-hmm.
They were at our competition dinner, but they've hired me twice since you guys have been gone, and I think there were at least a couple of events that we did before you guys left.
Yeah, you just get to like check back in and ask questions about like, hey, last time we talked, you guys were headed on vacation. Like, talk to me about your time in Naples, Italy. Like, talk to me about your time doing this. And it's really fun just to like maintain that connection throughout the year.
I enjoy doing like multiple, like doing catering for a family that are completely different events. For instance, we had this client, Mary Jane Taylor. She was an absolute adorable sweetheart. We did her 70th birthday party, but then we also did her daughter's engagement party a few months later.
Mm-hmm. I think the fun part about catering, and particularly what we did, was you always got to be celebrating something with someone else. And so, irregardless of how we did on our end or how that person did on their end, the base and the core of the event was a celebration of someone or something. Whether that's just another Christmas or another year that's gone by to celebrate with staff, or just like a retirement party for someone who's been in their industry for almost 60 years. Like, that's so cool to get to be a part of. Baby showers, weddings, engagement parties, like just getting to be there to like celebrate someone else. that's a pretty unique job that not a lot of people get to see.
Yeah, I think that's part of why it's just something amazing about this coming together.
For sure. There's going to be a large need for that after we're all done quarantined.
Seriously.
Yeah. I definitely think we should throw a really big event when quarantine is over. Just to celebrate life again.
Just to celebrate being alive.
Yeah. Like, hey, you made it through 9, 15, God knows how many weeks of just isolation. Like, good for you. Like, your mental health is amazing.
Yeah, come party with us. Come have a bunch of really good food.
Just do like apps and dancing, or
Why don't we just turn taco bars?
Oh yeah, let's just do a taco bar. We just talk that up.
Taco bar, mac and cheese bar.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, your mac and cheese bar is one of my favorite things. Gosh, everyone loves your mac and cheese bar. You put caramelized onions on it, steak.
Crispy steak, caramelized onions.
really doesn't get much better than that.
Just can't forget the caramelized onions on the stove.
I'm curious to know, what is the hardest food that you guys try and cook? What's the most challenging food that you guys try and cook? You guys have any following questions you want to know from our audience?
What is your go-to quarantine food?
Or what thing are you afraid to try? Because
I like that.
Good. All right. Love you guys. We're out.
Bye.